Hey, what's up, guys? Samples is one of the most debated things in electronic dance music production. While the fans really don't give a fuck if you're using samples or not, because all they care about is hearing your music, and if it's good, it's gonna be good no matter whether you made your own samples or not. But making your own kicks and making your own claps has some sort of validity to it and has some sort of prideness into it that you can be proud that everything in your track was created by you. So a lot of people don't know how to approach how to create a kick, how to create claps, how to create hi-hats and whatnot. So in this video, we're going to focus on creating kicks. Specifically just one kick. I'm going to show you guys the parameters, how you should think when approaching how to make any sound. In this instance, we're going to be approaching it as, okay, I know everything there is to know about synthesis. I know the knowledge. Now, how do I apply it? So today we're going to be talking about that in the sense that we want to create a kick. Okay, guys, so apologies for taking a while to upload this video. I recently just had time to do it, so that's where this video is coming from. But I'm going to try and get more videos out for you guys because I know how hard it is to get some good quality videos out there with people that aren't just typing stuff out and showing it on the screen. But, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy the way I teach, and let's get to it, okay? All right, guys, so making a kick, we need to think to ourselves, how does a kick look? How does it work? You know, what are the characteristics of a kick? And when I'm saying what are the characteristics of a kick, I'm saying how would the wave look if you had it in front of you? So as many of you guys know, the kick usually starts with a click, which is a, and then it has a tail to it, which is usually the low end, which is a dun, dun, dun. So we have a click and then we have a low end, okay? The kick and the low end, we're going to have to create in part A separately and part B separately. So we can't do it all in just one part. So we're going to have part A and part B. We're going to use part A for the low end part, and we're going to use part B for the clicky part, okay? So the first thing is first, sustain is going to be all the way down because kicks are not sustained all the way. They're not infinitely sustained. So there's no reason to have a full sustain. So we're going to lower it all the way down. Now, what we do want to have is, first off, the attack. We're going to lower it all the way down for part A. That's going to allow the sound to come out instantly as soon as a note is played on the keyboard, on your mouse, or wherever. Now, if you guys remember how I explained to you guys how a kick is usually like dun. So if you hear the idea of a kick is a dun, pretty much you can kind of consider it a pluck. So how do you create plucks? You mess with the decay time. So what we're going to do is increase decay. So right now we have a saw. We're going to turn that saw into a sine because the sine is going to allow us to get some really juicy low end. Okay, so we're going to lower 2 octaves. So there we have something that resembles a kick. So we're going to put 8 voices so it's louder and a little bit has a lot more body to it. And pretty much when we put 8 voices there, it just means 8 signs are coming out in unison. So pretty much if there's no detunement, they're literally coming out like this. So now we're going to try again. Okay, so now that sounds more like a kick, but you know, it's missing a lot of stuff that we're going to add. So one of the ways that we can kind of make this kick, you know, get that clicky sound is via pitch envelope modulation. What this is going to do is pretty much it's going to tell the sine wave to go from low to high really fast or from high to low. So what we're going to do is move it a bit to the right, and then we're going to apply some decay time here, just the same as we did for amp envelope A. And what we're going to get now is this. So as you guys can see, we have more a clicky sound. However, when we do add a lot of the envelope, you can kind of tell that you lost a lot of your low end. So we don't want that. That sounds perfect there. So the sweet spot tends to be here in this octave. All right, so we have that now. Now over here, we're going to add another sine if you want. And we're going to lower that octave by 2. And now what we're going to do is turn the stereo here, stereo knob, all the way to 0, which is going to turn both of them into mono. Kicks are always going to be in mono. There's usually no stereo to a kick. The reason for that is because when you hear EDM, the kick usually is the power force, the kick and the bass. So that's why they tend to be more in the middle, while the leads are more to the sides. So straight away, if you don't want to just put a utility here, you can always turn this into mono just straight off the bat. And now we have them coming out of the center. Okay, so once we have that, you know, we can kind of say, okay, maybe this will give us a little bit more of a kick layer here if we put this at -1 or so, yeah. So we're going to leave this at 0 now. Now we need to work with part B. Now in part B, what we want to create is a clicky sound that's gonna make the kicks sound brighter. If you guys have heard sounds like the Tsunami one from Dubs, or really punchy sounds, a lot of the sounds sometimes they're layered with like a long lead and then a plucky sound to make the lead kind of feel like it's punching you. That's just kind of like an illusion that is created by that clicky sound. So that's what we're going to try and do here with the kick, is create that illusion. So you can use any wavetable, and I'll show you guys with the square and then we'll move the wavetables. But what we want to do again is sustain all the way down, and if you guys remember, attack all the way down. And if you remember, pretty much, you know that the clicky sound is very fast and it doesn't cover the whole kick. It's just and that's it. So when we know that, we can have a low decay time, super low, as you can see from there. And we're kind of getting it already, but we can let it out more. And now what we're gonna do is pretty much have turn the stereo all the way down for this as well, because this is a whole sound together. We're just creating the layers. And what we want to do here is put a lot of detunement to kind of detune the hell out of the waves, so it doesn't have that much harmonic to it, and it's gonna sound more clicky. And we're gonna change the phase a bit. And now the decay time a bit less. And then we have what sounds like a real click. And then we can mess around with it more. And then we have a very tight click and a very tight kick. So as you guys can see, it's fairly easy to create kicks. They do take some time though, and you can develop extra things. Like one of the things we can say is, oh, well, if the click, you know, is in the beginning of the kick, then that means I can kind of put an attack to the bottom part of the kick. That way the click comes in and then the bass comes in. That's also correct. You can do it that way, so it depends on how you want to do it. As you can see, I am adding attack to this. And it kind of gives that kick, the initial click, a lot more power, it's more audible. So it depends on how you guys want it. Okay, so, you know, that is pretty much the basics of creating a kick. The other things I would do is apply EQs to get the kick to sound good. So we're gonna, you know, just click here. And then we can, you know, increase some bass. Compress a bit. Okay, as you can see there. Now distortion is up to you guys to use. It does give you some unique stuff though. So we can kind of apply a bit of fold back there, as you can see, to give it more character. But we want to put it right before it starts to distort really badly, because then that's not going to work as a kick. We have overdrive. Now you can change the wavetables on your click. And as you guys can see, fairly simple stuff. You can put a high pass to this as well to kind of just EQ it a tad bit more, because remember, filters are EQs in general. And from there you can go crazy with it, guys. So that's how you create your own kicks. Now let me talk a bit about this, okay? I know how to create a kick, I know how to create claps, I know how to create hats, but I still use samples that are in sample packs, and I still use samples, loops and stuff. Why is that? The reason for that, guys, is because when you get an idea, you just want to get in the studio and get that idea out, and you want to create it as fast as possible when you're at the most inspired. So if you guys see, you know, if I'm here working on a kick this way and I want it to be fucking perfect to the point where I really am a perfectionist, I can spend hours just moving knobs back and forth. Or I can just grab a sample that I heard, you know, from a construction kit, and I said, oh, okay, this really works well with the whole element, so I know this kit can work similarly in my track because I have the same bass that construction kit had. Then I save like 30 minutes that I could have been working on other stuff. Now, using samples does have its cons, like if you use risers and stuff like that, yeah, some people might have used them. But in the end, guys, the most important thing of a track is the idea, not the stuff you use for it. We as producers have stuff available to us, and we have to learn how to get the sounds, you know, from, okay, I want this lead, I know I go to Sylenth1 and get that lead. If I want this vocal type of vocal, I'm not gonna go with this vocalist, I'm gonna go with this vocalist. Oh, I suck at mixing stuff, why not, you know, go to this producer that I really know well and have him mix it, and in return I'll probably do something that he doesn't know how to do for him. So producers, you know, we're more than just making our own shit. We're putting stuff together from what's available to us, and I think that's one of the most important things that any producer can learn how to do, is learn how to make an idea come to life by using every element that they have available to them. All right, guys, so this has been a video on how to make your own kick. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, why not hit the sub button? It doesn't hurt. You're not gonna have to pay a dime, and you get free tutorials now and then. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon, and hopefully you learned something. Peace out.